People don't know what's coming next. Ray Dalio's warning. The founder of Bridgewater Associates, investor and billionaire Ray Dalio, often speaks about the economic situations that are on their way to hitting the economy of the United States. A few days ago, Ray Dalio renewed his warning when he was asked how he valued the economic market today. Getting back to basics, he explained that cash or owning bonds isn't a safe investment. He discussed interest rates, the ongoing war with China, and inflation, as well as the long-term financial strain that the United States is experiencing. In his most recent talk, he warns that a financial catastrophe is on the horizon and advises investors to be prepared for that. The video will go over the analysis of Ray Dalio's recent warning to investors, and at the end, we will share Ray Dalio's tips for investors to be on the safe side. Ray Dalio foresaw the first economic crisis in 2008 for the first time. In one of his talks with CNBC News, he said he believes his predictions aren't facts. He has been wrong many times, but economic crises are always unavoidable based on the pattern of the previous 500 years of history, which he predicts after a thorough examination of the facts. In the speech in which he warned the investors, he said that we are at the risk of war with China, largely due to misunderstanding. According to him, even if the upcoming conflict between the United States and China doesn't destroy our economy, something else will do that, and we should be prepared for that. The investment should be saved to invest in socially and economically strong countries. He also shared some helpful hints for investors, such as where to invest and where not to invest, as well as how to deal with the changing world order. In the newly published book, Principles for Dealing with the Changing World Order, he wrote that the United States is attempting to make Chinese culture more American, and that doesn't seem good. It will result in backfire and will eventually lead to conflict. The conflict will make the already ongoing trade war more intense and serious. It also started with the administration of President Donald Trump, when he forced U.S. companies to reduce wages, profit margins, and consumer prices. An analytical study has found that the U.S.-China trade war has cost Americans more than 30 million jobs in just a few years. According to a report by the Federal Reserve Bank, the U.S.-China trade war cost U.S. companies more than $1.7 trillion in market capitalization. In one of his discussions with CNBC News, Ray Dalio said that China's human rights policies are like strict parents. This statement gave rise to a social media controversy. He gave clarification of this statement in one of his LinkedIn posts by saying, "My statement wasn't meant to endorse that approach. I just shared my own opinion based on what a Chinese leader told me about their views on governing." In his LinkedIn post, he also expressed hope that the United States and China could step back from the brink of conflict. According to Ray Dalio, what Bridgewater does is less important than the growing threat of a U.S. war with China. Moreover, he said that this issue will be addressed thoughtfully and that mutual understanding will increase and inclination towards war will decrease. In his recent talk with Fortune India, he shared his views on the recent ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine and gave his analysis of how the Ukrainian-Russian war will affect the economy of the United States. According to Ray Dalio, in the upcoming few years, the United States could be rocked by inflation, a decrease in trade, and tighter monetary policy. He also warned about the disrupted presidential elections. According to him, the ongoing overseas wars like the Russia and Ukraine wars will make these challenges more serious. The dispute between China and Taiwan and the war between Russia and Ukraine will become more serious, and the frictions will heat up to the extreme. These are all ongoing situations in the world that will impact the economy of the United States to some extent. In one of his LinkedIn posts, he said that my greatest fear is where we are standing in the war or peace cycle. History shows us that during extended periods of war, people, and most importantly, the leaders, tend to be the peacemakers. And during extended periods of peace, many people tend to facilitate the war. War is so terrible, and when a war ends with such huge destruction, its supporters hesitate to facilitate another war. That's the scene, according to Ray Dalio. He also said that the growing polarization of political ideology in the United States has paved the way for violence and political extremism. Economic problems such as rising debt, inflation, and the widening gap in wealth have historically led to battles for control of countries. Ray Dalio noted that when the war extends its boundaries, it affects many things, including the market. However, in all of his talks, Ray Dalio didn't comment on how Bridgewater Associates would be affected by the market response. Bridgewater Associates is the best and top-ranked hedge fund among all the hedge funds, and it is thought to maintain more than $150 billion in assets. Despite all these facts, as most of us know, inflation is increasing more and more. The U.S. government is increasing its tax rate. The world order is changing very quickly. Cryptocurrency is becoming less and less important to invest in. The companies are focusing on other resources. All these things are changing quickly. Most importantly, we are seeing a quick turnover in the financial markets. The ways of marketing and doing business are changing continuously. A lot of things depend on other things. So in all these scenarios, any wrong step will put you at a huge loss. A wise decision should be made by investors to collect the profit, and that decision can be made after analyzing all the things and keeping an eye on what's going on right now and what may happen in the future. Investors have to be wise in making their financial decisions. So, here are some tips given by Ray Dalio that can help you go rich and be safe from financial catastrophe. Regardless of what is going to happen, if a person worries, he doesn't need to worry. But if a person doesn't worry, he needs to worry. That's Ray Dalio's simple principle for approaching upcoming situations. Ray Dalio believes that when you worry, you get to know about the risks. And in that case, you will probably take action to minimize the risk. Cash investors have to realize that cash isn't a safe place to invest in. It's not the best option to invest in because you will not be making a profit by accumulating cash in your bank account. It will be taxed, and inflation and interest rates will affect it significantly. Investors should know that they can balance their financial portfolio. A balanced portfolio helps you reduce your risk without reducing your return. Ray Dalio always advises measuring your financial risk. For instance, if you have some amount in your saving account, then it's probably acquiring different values as the market goes down or up. So it's being affected and taxed by inflation as compared to your other investments. But it doesn't necessarily mean you should go for the other investment options. It just means that your emergency savings should always be funded by a safe, well-balanced, and secure financial portfolio. To be safe from economic catastrophe, the first step is to have a strong portfolio that allows you to access your best investment strategy. Once you have a strong portfolio, you should make sure all your money isn't in one place. Cash isn't a safe and best investment. You have to diversify your portfolio so that if you face a loss on one side, you should be collecting profit from some other means. That's the secret to being safe from the upcoming economic crisis. Before making a financial decision, you will need to sit back and analyze the present, past, and future. Just invest wisely to be on the safe side. So guys, it seems enough for today's video. Please share with us your opinion by commenting below this video. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so and also press the bell icon so as to receive notifications of the latest uploads from our channel. We will be back to you with another amazing video. Until then, goodbye and peace.